I don't think anybody's buying it. It's like last night, the speech. She made 26 different things that were lies. She lied, but that's okay because a lot of people lie. They'll do anything to get elected, but she lied about, she's increasing taxes, I'm decreasing taxes, and she put it the other way around. Perhaps she misspoke.
This clip of Donald Trump in Las Vegas is disappointing. I mean, seriously, how can he accuse Vice President Kamala Harris of lying 26 times without any self-awareness? His whole demeanor is desperate, as if he is trying to find any way to smear her reputation. When he says, maybe she misspoke, it sounds like he is trying to disprove his own inaccuracies by blaming her. I don't think he's even sure what he's talking about. The way he makes baseless accusations makes me wonder, how long can this farce last?
And a bartender, can we get the culinary union to maybe vote for Trump? Because, suburban women, please love me, please love me. Because, got a lot of suburban women. Look at this. Wow. Don't forget, suburban women, men also, but we don't worry about that.
Seeing Donald Trump desperately begging the culinary union for votes gave me pause. It's like he's stuck in a cycle of begging for support, as if he doesn't know any other way to connect with people. And it's not the first time. Remember when he almost got down on his knees, begging suburban women to please love me? That moment made me shake my head. It's like he knows he's losing support and can't figure out any other way to win people over. But do these empty pleas actually work? Does he really believe that begging for votes, rather than offering real solutions, is enough to convince people? When he says, don't forget suburban women, men too, but we're not worried about that, it seems out of place, almost like he's trying too hard to be relatable and completely missing the mark.
Rate, and now she's even pushing a tax on unrealized capital gains. In other words, the appraisers are going to make a lot of money, which will soon be applied to small business owners, and you will be forced to sell your restaurant immediately, and the new owner won't do the job at this restaurant.
I couldn't believe my ears when I heard Donald Trump attacking Vice President Kamala Harris for supporting a tax on unrealized capital gains. Seriously? A tax that only impacts those with over $100 million, and he's trying to make it sound like it's going to destroy small businesses? Give me a break. He's out there spinning this wild tale about restaurant owners being forced to sell their businesses. Are we supposed to buy that? Come on. It's like he's trying to protect the ultra-wealthy while making it seem like he's fighting for everyday people. Honestly, does he think we're that gullible?
And I say welcome to 1929. Do you know what 1929 was? You don't want to know, right? You don't want to know, but that's where they're headed if they do what they're planning.
Oh, here we go again with Trump's usual scare tactics. When he pulled out that reference to the 1929 crash, I immediately roll my eyes. Really, Trump? Is that your big warning? Vote for me, or we're headed straight back to the Great Depression? It's like he's always trying to paint the darkest picture possible to stir up fear and anxiety. Honestly, does he really think we're buying into this doom and gloom narrative? Every time he speaks, it's like he's trying to make us believe the world is on the brink of disaster. Unless, of course, we put our faith in him. It's exhausting. Wow, can we talk about the irony for a second? While the stock market has soared over 50% since Trump left office, he's out there trying to tank it with his doom-filled tweets about economic crashes and market collapses. It's so laughable. If it weren't so dangerous. He's literally out here trying to sabotage the economy, all while making wild threats to the chairman of the Federal Reserve. What does that tell us about his priorities? I mean, can you imagine a former president actively trying to cause harm to the economy just to fuel his political narrative? And then, there's the ultimate kicker. Trump media stock is down 54% in the last 6 months. The contrast couldn't be clearer. While our stock market hits record highs, Trump's own ventures are floundering.
And she mentioned thank you about 50 times. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her? But then she recovered. She did much better. But she didn't tell anything. She didn't say anything. She talked about her family, how beautiful San Francisco was.
It's honestly unbelievable how Trump is trying to mock Vice President Kamala Harris by repeating "thank you" over and over again. This kind of childish imitation is beyond absurd and just shows how far he's fallen in terms of substance. To think he's resorting to such petty attacks instead of presenting real arguments is truly disheartening. His attempt to dismiss Harris's talk about her family in San Francisco is nothing more than a desperate grasp for relevance. It's as if he's completely run out of meaningful content and is left with nothing but these ridiculous antics. What a disappointing display of leadership, one that clearly reveals his inability to engage in serious discourse.
And he's very happy about the no tax on tips because he was the first one that presented after the young, beautiful waitress that suggested. I said, what do you think of it, Michael? He said, I think it's a great idea.
Haha. I burst out laughing when I heard Trump's latest claim that the no tax on tips idea came from a young, beautiful waitress. Is this the best he can come up with? It is ridiculous that he tries to wear a cloak of false humility while presenting this idea as a brilliant initiative of his own. The whole thing seems like a bizarre attempt to portray himself as a champion of the working class, when in fact, it is just another grandiose story to distract from his actual achievements. This kind of rhetoric is so over the top, it's hard to take seriously. It's clear that Trump is out of touch with the real issues and is instead focusing on making these elaborate, almost theatrical claims.
And interfering with our elections. Following my first discussion with President Trump, I tried unsuccessfully to open similar discussions with Vice President Harris. Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me, suspending my candidacy.
Isn't it outrageous that Trump is trying to portray himself as a champion of workers while conveniently ignoring his own record? He's talking about eliminating the tip tax, but let's not forget the real story. While in office, he actually tried to pass rules that allowed employers to steal workers' tips. It would take a Democratic amendment to an omnibus bill to stop Trump and his labor secretary from planning to take away workers' hard-earned tips. Now that's a blatant contradiction. It's ironic that he tries to act like a hero. Meanwhile, he's actively fighting against the very people he now pretends to support. And speaking of ridiculous, RFK Jr.'s press conference added another layer of absurdity to the mix. RFK Jr. supporting Trump now but whining about not hearing back from Vice President Harris? It's almost as if Trump's desperate antics are affecting everyone around him. It makes you wonder, how can Trump spin every situation in his favor, no matter how hypocritical or flawed his actions are?
Is now occurring at age 10 to 13, which is 6 years earlier than girls were reaching puberty in 1900. Our country has the earliest puberty rates of any continent on the earth. And no, this isn't because of better nutrition. This is not normal.
I must say, the latest twist in this circus is truly unsettling. RFK Jr.'s bizarre comments about the puberty rates of young girls are, quite frankly, unsettling and borderline creepy. Who thought it was a good idea to delve into such an invasive topic in such a public manner? It's beyond strange and adds yet another layer of discomfort to an already bizarre political landscape. And can we talk about how Trump and RFK Jr. are now seemingly joined at the hip? Just a few months ago, Trump was slamming RFK Jr. as a radical left liberal and calling him a Democrat plant designed to help Biden get reelected. He painted RFK Jr. as an anti-gun, extreme environmentalist, and a big-time taxer. Yet here we are now, with Trump and RFK Jr. inexplicably aligned. It's like watching a bad reality show where the plot twists are more absurd than anything you'd find on primetime TV. Let's see, today's political drama continues to unravel in ways that are both astonishing and troubling. Donald Trump's latest remarks show him spiraling into ever more desperate and disjointed rhetoric. From his unfounded attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris to his bizarre pleas for votes from various groups, his attempts to grasp at relevance seem increasingly futile. His outlandish claims about tax policies and economic collapse only highlight his disconnection from reality and his tendency to distort the truth. If you want to stay informed and gain deeper insights into these unfolding events, make sure to keep up with our channel. We'll continue to dissect and analyze these developments, bringing you the truth behind the headlines. Stay tuned and subscribe to stay engaged with the latest in political analysis and commentary.